right there in midfield. He'll look to secure both in and out of possession. Ojeda, of course, a player you have to watch that will look to get on the front line alongside Enrique. And for Nashville SC, the partnership of Acosta and Yazbek in the double pivot in midfield will be something they'll be looking to control. And Kasim out wide will look to go in the 1v1s and really stimulate the attack for Nashville.
7 from the DC United game over the weekend, not in the lineup tonight for BJ Callahan and Nashville, and just 2 of those 7 are available off the bench. So a different look tonight for Nashville. We mentioned in the open, the last time these 2 teams played in this tournament back in 2022, that was Orlando City's route to the Open Cup title, hoisting the trophy a few years ago.
Well, you know Orlando City remembers that, but you definitely know that Nashville remembers that as well, and looking for the opportunity to match up here again in 2025.
Well, they met in the Open Cup, high stakes. They met in the MLS postseason, high stakes. And tonight, a berth in the quarterfinals on the line. It would match the longest run in the tournament for Nashville. And for Orlando City, they're trying to get back to the final and win it again. Neither of these teams played in the 2024 Open Cup. Orlando City took down Tampa Bay Rowdies 5-0 in the round of 32. Nashville took down Chattanooga Red Wolves 1-0 as we get underway from Inter & Co Stadium. Josh Appel, former United States Women's National Team member, Casey White with you. So glad you could be with us. First time these teams have met in 2025. And it comes here in the Open Cup. These 2 teams both in the top 5 in the Eastern Conference. As Acosta sends one towards Galese, and he's tested right away and comes up with the save. If the season ended today, of course, again, they're 4-5 in the Eastern Conference. That would mean they'd meet up in the first round. And now a chance potentially brewing for Orlando. It's Enrique leaving it back for Ojeda, back for Enrique. Enrique cuts it back to his right and just couldn't put it past Schweik. Jonathan Perez, the 22-year-old, the in-swinger. Applewhite gets a head on it, and it's off the post.
With this header, he is textbook in the way he does it. He hits it down into the ground. That's what throws a goalkeeper off.
Orlando has had a tendency when they do concede goals this season. They have been susceptible to those headers. Top 5 in goals allowed on headers in MLS play is Pasalic. Deep Pasalic! A banger from Marco Pasalic! And Orlando City strikes first with authority.
Well, this is football, isn't it? Nashville going the other direction, had a few minutes of really good play, but Pasalic just steps up in such a big moment in a counter-attacking transition opportunity. It's Freeman getting involved. He gets him into the outside channel, takes on the 1v1, 2 runs ahead.
How do you see his style as a player reflected in the way that Orlando City plays?
Well, he was always very composed and simplistic, and I think that's a lot of what you see from Gervais in that holding midfield role. And we talked about that a little bit, of just making things look easy that are not easy, and that's what Perea did as a player, and I remember so vividly about him. But also, he was tough, and he covered a lot of ground and really served as a connector between the lines.
Alex Freeman to throw in. You mentioned Geron Gervais. First round pick in the draft. He was #1 on the draft board for Orlando City. And Oscar Pereja has said so many incredible things about him. They matched him up with Messi on Sunday, a rookie against Lionel Messi. And he held him to just 2 shots on target in the 3-0 shutout. And we asked Oscar what he looks for in a player in the midfield like Gervais. And he said someone who does not want the ball, someone who's unselfish, not looking for any of the recognition, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that have to be unselfish in connecting everybody together.
What was really interesting was how he said the player that they don't need to feel like they're important, and then they become the most important player, because you are that connector between the lines, and you're looking to get on the ball, but you're making it as simple as possible.
Nashville trying to equalize into a dangerous area, and they do! It's Bunbury! And just like that, Nashville levels it on the road. A gritty goal, and it all counts the same.
And I think this time the box organization really let down Orlando City. We saw it a few times on the corner kick, but Nashville takes it off the throw-in. It doesn't really look like a whole lot is going to come into that space. Otherwise, the opposition is getting turned and face forward. So for Bracalo, he might give up a foul or two, but what you gain from that is letting your player know they're not going to have a lot of space in the game, and that's something that's hard on them.
Nahar, and the flag came up for offside. No Hani Mukhtar, no Sam Surridge, among others, for Nashville tonight. 7 out of the 11 that started against DC over the weekend. Not in the starting 11 tonight. Just 2 of those 7 are even available. Enrique was making a run, but Applewhite stepped in front of that and cleared it away. Meyer. Pasalic running in from behind. Space for Kasim. He goes for goal and scores! Orlando City fell asleep and Kasim took advantage, and it's 2 unanswered for Nashville.
And again, it's that space in front of the back line that's been really important for both of these teams, but we're seeing it happen again where Orlando City has a lion's share of possession. They seem to have more of the run of play, but there's moments that change things in the game. Meyer keeps the ball. Corcoran's looking to play forward, and that
was cleared away. Thorhaldsen. Out wide for Araujo. He sends one towards the back post, but Schweik has it go off his hands and over the end line for another corner to Orlando City. He'll want that one back.
You certainly don't want to be conceding a corner kick. You've worked so hard to come back from a 1-goal deficit, and then in the last minute of the first half, they want to make sure they're organized, really touch tight player for player here.
Back post again, the header, just wide from Schlegel. He tried to make up for the own goal and came close.
It can be incredibly difficult because that ball is just hanging up there a little bit too long. The trajectory was high. It's hard to generate power from that as you're waiting for it to come down. But Schlegel does read it quite well in this moment. He has to come from almost a standing position to wait for it and search it out from an aerial battle, but still does pretty well to get a touch on it.
Mentioning that Tampa Bay round of 32 match for Orlando. Previous 5 matches in MLS going into that one, 4 out of 5 were scoreless draws. And Orlando City was trying to figure out how they can get that scoring touch back that they had at the beginning of the season. Well, all they did over the 4 matches, starting with that Tampa Bay game, for Palacios. And there is the whistle for halftime. Surprising result after the first half here in Orlando. 2-1 to Nashville. As the goal for Orlando City came in the 17th minute, one of the goals of the tournament so far. Again, Nashville playing without a lot of their regulars. No Hani Mukhtar, no Sam Surridge. A lot of the mainstays for Orlando City are out there tonight or available off the bench. So this is a surprising result through 45 minutes. Right off the jump, long ball for Freeman on that right side. Freeman just sails it wide. Towards the quarterfinal, you can watch the rest of that match on Paramount Plus. This one over the top, looking for Ojeda, and a card is going to come out back behind the play. Yazbek will get booked.
The battle in the central areas is something we knew was going to be big for both of these teams. Oscar Pereira told us about it. He thought that whoever could dominate the central channel was going to be important. Yazbek gets the card right here coming in late. He's putting good pressure to be disruptive, but that one not well timed there from the central midfielder.
St. Louis has leveled Minnesota in the 58th minute. as Nashville and Kasim lays it out wide. Perez on his right foot. Well defended. Gerbet got a piece, and it deflects to Galese. As you see, Charlotte FC have leveled their match against DC as well. Both those games on Paramount Plus. Things starting to heat up in the round of 16 of the Open Cup.
And in this one here, that numbers down defending could be really critical, because you give up a goal in that moment, it seems a little bit more of a mountain to climb, and it's hard to do when you've got that 4v3 coming at you. But I think that's promising for Orlando City, just being a little bit stingier defensively in a moment where they really needed it.
Bracalo into the middle. Enrique for Freeman. Pasalic for Enrique! Ramiro Enrique loves the Open Cup. He scores again in this tournament. And Orlando City draw level with Nashville, just shy of the 60-minute mark.
Well, through the beginning of this second half, that right side of the attack for Orlando City has been great. They've been finding the initial ones. It was just that second run that they needed to find. Freeman's inverted in this area. They're working hard to win it. Finds Pasalic out in the wide space, uses the one touch to spring Enrique. What a great finish, too. He lifts it just a little bit, and it's the one touch.
Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they're not going away quietly. That match on Paramount Plus, they've gotten on the scoreboard, now down 3-1. How about Charlotte FC, 2 unanswered. That game also on Paramount Plus as Muriel springs Angulo. Just off the bench, these two. Angulo, Muriel. Muriel gets through but couldn't tee it up. Now Dagger Dan, Pasalic! Went for goal. He has one, nearly had two.
Well, he's got that smile on his face because he knows that's a great opportunity. He just lets it fly a little bit too high. I love the deception here. Look at that right there. Muriel looks like he's going to go for it. It goes out, and he's not able to break through in that, but that's what he brings. And then Pasalic just leans back a little bit too much when he's going for power for the left-footed finish.
He's capable of a lot of power in that shot, as we saw earlier. One of the goals of the tournament in the 17th minute.
When playing as that inverted winger and being left-footed, coming in on the inside, it's such a dangerous weapon to have, and then you can allow that wide space for Freeman. But pay attention to Applewhite. Applewhite has proven that he can get on the end of all of these set pieces so far in this game.
The in-swinger towards the front post, deflects off of Palacios and then cleared away nicely by Orlando City. Palacios got by Freeman, who went down. Schlegel closes in on him. Palacios puts it across goal. Kasim battling with Angulo. Yazbek leaves it back from distance. Oh my! Nashville! What a goal! Another banger tonight in Orlando.
And this is just great from Kasim in the wide space and just keeping it alive there. Palacios, it goes all the way across. And Kasim goes in the 1v1, just very comfortable in possession, sets up Angulo, gets a little bit lucky with a few touches here and there, but once he goes into the box, he's able just to keep it alive. Look at that from Yazbek. Just a great finish as well from the top of the box from Meyer. He steps up, has his moment, and
still with it. Tried to feed Angulo. Comes for Gerbet. Wide for Freeman. Sent into the area. Palacios has to be tracked down by Bracalo. And now Janssen. Dire moments for Orlando City. against the team in Nashville, which has rotated their squad heavily tonight. No Hani Mukhtar, no Sam Surridge, but they've got 3 against a team that just shut out Inter Miami on Sunday. Dagerdan Thoraldsson.
And the compact shape of Nashville, very evident. They're going into a 4-4-2 defensively. They're in a super low block. What becomes important is speed of play for Orlando City. They have to shift them, move the ball quick, 1-2 touch, and see if you can get any of those younger players to shift quickly.
Muriel from distance. Muriel just wide. Nearly tied it.
Well, this is what Muriel can do. He just is so deceptive. He looks like he's going to play the ball. They know his service is good, so they step in. He just gets in and out. He slinks between defenders so incredibly well. That's what he brings. But he can also do this. Gets in the half space, takes on, and just takes a look at goal. It's a great strike. It doesn't miss by much, Josh, like he just did. Then you might open up space behind. So they're doing well in their decision-making to try to bring the back line of Nashville out.
So Javier Santos comes in for David Bracalo. Mayer in for Kasim for Nashville. Duncan McGuire also into the match for Orlando City, and he replaces Dagerdan Thoraldsson. McGuire scored against Tampa in the last round. Can he come up with a moment off the bench and equalize here in the final minutes? Pasalic tried to feed Enrique. Freeman back on it for Orlando. Enrique has scored tonight. Gerbe for Santos. Remember, Orlando City in the 2022 quarterfinal equalized in the 4th minute of stoppage time. Muriel, another good move. Angulo, across, the header! Not enough on it from Freeman.
For higher up the field, it's Muriel again with his deception. Goes right in between multiple players, just so hard to handle. McGuire sees the ability to play in the one-touch, finds Angulo, and it's Freeman that comes from the backside. But you can just see the numbers that Orlando City are dedicating forward to put Nashville under pressure.
That's a foul here. .23 total goals scored tonight in Open Cup action. What a round of 16 here. Santos curls one in. Cleared away. What a night it's been. If you're watching us on Paramount Plus, thanks for being with us. If you're watching the Whip Around coverage, you have been entertained and then some tonight.
The attacking midfielder in me is loving this right now. So many goals.
Muriel off the corner. Back post. The header! And a goal kick. And Orlando City incensed. They feel this will be the second time they feel tonight. They've had a corner taken away from them.
And just floating this ball up to the back post, putting it into an area that Schlegel can just really seek it out. It looked like it might have taken a deflection right off the head of the defender, because it looked like Schlegel got down over it, headed it into him, and then that's what made it go out of bounds.
So the second time as we approach the 90th minute. There will be a decent amount of stoppage. Seven minutes of stoppage time. Nashville come into Orlando and win it 3-2, and they're on to the quarterfinal.